Welcome to another episode, everyone. High Desert State Prison. The Muslims crashed out and brutalized one of their own people. As I've said, High Desert State Prison is the most violent prison in the state of California. If you're not new to the channel, you understand this. If you are, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the Inside Story with me, Damian Porter. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. And there in High Desert, every faction, every group is very staunch and very strong. The Muslims were steadfast. This is not your average Muslim group. You will not find them in a mosque listening to Louis Farrakhan. These Muslims here in High Desert carried knives, though they were very religious and very strong in their faith. They also were very violent when crossed. The Muslims in High Desert State Prison were just like any other group. They stayed to themselves, but when necessary, they would put down a violent demonstration. Yes, they had a car, they had a faction, and they comported themselves correctly, and they only dealt with one another. You would find one Muslim with another Muslim. They did not take sides in case of a conflict between Bloods and Crips or whatever factions that may be black and fighting with one another. The Muslims always stayed neutral and tended to their own business. They didn't take sides. In fact, they let every black faction know that they were with us. Their main gripe and problem, of course, was with white supremacy, the skinheads, the Nazi lowriders, and the Aryan Brotherhoods there in prison. And indeed, they had many skirmishes. In comes Brother Man. Brother Man hits the yard in High Desert, and he is indeed a Muslim. Brother Man goes into the cell with a blood member. The Muslims made it clear that they were going to move Brother Man out of the cell with the blood and into the cell with one of them soon enough. Just hang on. But before they can even make the move, they come to find out that Brother Man is in the cell with the blood member drinking. Brother Man gets drunk one night and is making noise there on a tier. This is a no-no in High Desert State Prison. You can hear a pin drop at 9 p.m. It is completely quiet on the tier. Out of respect for everyone, that's just how the prison is ran. The politics are extremely strong. And if you flout one of these rules and our politics, if you flout the protocol, you will be dealt with swiftly there in High Desert State Prison. This individual is getting drunk. The word gets back to the Muslims that their comrade, Brother Man, is in the cell with the blood, and he got loaded and was making noises and sounds out there on the tier. This is not a good look for any car, any faction, certainly not the Muslims. They're not going to have this. So they confront Brother Man. Brother Man admits to his fault. He admits that he had got loaded. They told Brother Man right then and there, listen, this is a very serious situation. This is a very serious yard. We don't drink. We don't smoke. We don't get involved with any of that. And you cannot either if you're going to be a Muslim here on this yard. Because the Muslims understood the individuals hit the yard that were not Muslims at first. They were gang members. And then they hit the yard and then they turned Muslim. That's okay. I know many individuals that have done this and they're very serious about their faith. We'll take you out in the name of Allah. Nevertheless, some of these individuals are charlatans. They're faking the funk. They're passing through. They want to make it out in one piece, and they don't want to get involved in all of the gang politics that can lead to instant death. And so all of a sudden, they become Muslims as a way to escape. The Muslims understand this. And so the ones who are very serious about their religion, they are going to disallow you to come on a yard and just claim to be one of them to get away from all other drama, because the Muslims on this yard, they want the drama too. They want the smoke. If you come at them incorrectly, no matter who you are, they will put down a violent demonstration instantly. Many of them were former gang members. But now, as serious as they were about their gang, they're just as serious about their religion, if not more so. They are prepared to give their very lives for their religion. They're not going to accept brother man hitting the yard, making them look bad there on the tier. They confronted him immediately, put him on quick notice. This, my brother, is a weapons-only yard. There are no games to be played here. If you come out to the yard without a weapon, you will be the only individual on the yard without a weapon. And if something kicks off, you're cooked. You're done. Carry your weapon. Stay low. Don't run your mouth. Don't talk. Show up to Juma. Show up to the religious services. Do your prayers, etc. They told him this. And then you'll be accepted. You're one of us. But right now, you're on notice. We don't know what's up with you. You're hanging out with the Bloods. He began to hang out with the Bloods on the yard because he was in a cell with one brother man more than he was hanging out with the Muslims. This is after they had already issued a warning to him. And they found out that brother man was not doing his prayers 5 times a day. He was still inside of the cell drinking with the Blood member. They had eyes on this individual. They wanted to know who it is that they were dealing with. And when they found this out, they issued brother man yet one more warning. This was indeed, and they made this abundantly clear, the last warning. No more drinking. And in fact, no more hanging out with the Blood members. They moved brother man out of the cell with the Blood member. He was upset about this. They had become rather close. They were in there drinking every night, chilling. He didn't want to move out of the cell. He gave the Muslims a little flack, but nevertheless, he conformed and moved out of the cell and into the cell with the Muslim. Nevertheless, one day they have Juma, where the Muslims go and congregate and pray and have their religious service. And brother man did not show up for some reason. Well, come to find out, he was out there on the yard hanging out with the Bloods instead of being there at the religious service. This is a violation. They took this extremely serious, particularly because they had already warned brother man that he was out of line. He was out of pocket with the way that he was behaving there on the yard. They moved him out of the cell. He was so upset about that he's out there on the yard hanging out with his old cellie and other Blood members. And apparently, brother man is under the false notion that the Bloods have his back, that should something kick off, should the Muslims lose control, which is what they ended up doing, and crack his head open, which they ended up doing, that the Bloods would have his back, would not allow this to happen without retribution. Well, he's dead wrong. brother man, allow me to disabuse you of the notion that the Bloods are going to have your back. You're not one of them. If you're not a Blood, if you're not actually from that faction, you can hang out and chill with them. You can know some of them from the street, from juvenile hall, this, that, and other. Your brother can be one of them. If you are not, then they cannot do anything on your behalf, particularly against a group that you do belong to, that is DPing you, disciplining you for whatever reason. That's their business. No one can get involved. Brother man apparently doesn't understand this. So he's out there on the yard hanging out with the Bloods. And that was it, the last strike, the last straw for the Muslims. They were irate when he did not show up to the religious service. And when they found out the reasons why, they investigated. They went looking for him. Man, where did this dude at? Sent some Muslims out to the yard. Go get brother man. Why is he not here? They go out, peep out on the yard, walk the track, see brother man over there hanging out with his old Sally, just chopping it up, laughing, joking, chilling with his old Sally and a few of the Bloods. They hurry back and tell the shot caller right there in the religious services, hey, he's out there chilling. Shot caller, being calm, peaceful, but readily violent, said, okay, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Let it go. But the plan was already in motion in that moment. Brother man had to go immediately. Not only that, it was clear that they wanted to send a message. They wanted to brutalize brother man right there on the yard, right there in front of the Bloods, to let everyone know they're unafraid of anyone, and to let brother man know that these individuals are not going to support you. They're not going to do anything when we take your face off right now. They can't. You were supposed to listen to us and what we said, because every faction has their own protocols in politics. Whatever that faction says, that's what goes. Brother man, he was recalcitrant, headstrong, willful, and thought he had the self-agency to make his own decisions. He was mistaken. And right then and there, the big dog gathered the Muslims around, whispered to them as to what to do in that moment, which was go back out there on the yard right now and take him down. Without warning, without any conversation. He's already been warned before. This is the ultimate disrespect to not show up to Juma, particularly because you would rather hang out with a car that you do not belong to. You would rather hang out with some gang members. They come in here and praise Allah. Well, that was a mistake. They didn't want to hesitate and plan anything out. Get him later on tonight in the day room. Get him tomorrow on the yard. He had to go right now because every Muslim there was upset, irate even, and they wanted blood. Without hesitation, certainly, they all had weapons on them already. It's a weapons-only yard. It doesn't matter where you're going. Yes, right there to church. You carry your thing with you. You better. They were already armed and ready. They went right back out to the yard and walked right back around the track. They did let the Bloods know what was about to take place. They didn't want to make a mistake or had the Bloods make a mistake in thinking that they were coming to attack them or about to attack them as well as Brother Man or any of this sort of stuff. So they just out of respect, and he's right there with them. They're about to come at him with some knives. You let the other group know, hey, get out of the way. Here we come. He put one of the heavy hitters for the Bloods over and hollered at him. They didn't even go anywhere near Brother Man. They didn't want to alert him. They just wanted to get him away from the Bloods. So the Blood called Brother Man Sally over to him. Hey, Blood, woo, check it out. Bring the homies with you. He getting him away from Brother Man. Brother Man still doesn't know what's going on. He just thinking something going on with the Bloods, and the Bloods have to meet up and talk real quick amongst them. You can't come to this little get together. You're not one of us. That's not why they were calling him around or calling their people away and isolating Brother Man. They came over there and they let him know, man, they about to get this dude. Stand down. Y'all ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Yeah, of course. Well, ain't nobody asking no questions. Brother Man, you're on your own. They got him away. He's over there against the wall by himself, hanging out by the building. Muslim busting another lap, walking around the track. And they're walking slowly. Walking. They don't want to alert him still. And then they walk up towards him, towards the building. Everybody just sitting there looking, the ones who know what's about to go down. And then they whip out knives, burners, big ones, sharp ones. And they attacked Brother Man without mercy and relentlessly. These are all of the attacks there in High Desert State Prison. When you are attacked, it will be with a weapon and a very sharp one. When they come for you, they're coming to take your face off. Once it gets to that point, you must show everyone respect and comport yourself in the proper manner. If you do not, you will foment and bring violence upon yourself. Brother Man had no chance, and if he had a knife on him, he didn't have a chance to pull it out because they got up on him and started hitting. Boom, boom, boom. He hit the ground immediately. Brother Man was down. He didn't stand a chance. He had no weapon on it. He didn't have it out. He didn't get a chance to pull it out. And they started hitting him all in the face with their weapon. Bam, bam, bam. I said, oh, man, this is ugly. Bruh, man, is no more. Face missing. He's down there on the ground, blood everywhere. He's barely moving, still trying to defend himself, but his movements are becoming slower and slower, breathing hard, losing air, leaking. And finally, because the police see what's going on, tell everybody to get out and pointed the gun at the Muslims, and they went on and got down. Feeling like they had already did what they had to do, which they did. Because Brother Man was down there and he wasn't moving. They brought the medical, the nurses, they down there pumping on Brother Man. I've seen this so many times. They're down there pumping on him, trying to bring him back to life, which they were indeed able to do. He did survive the attack. Barely. Certainly, he was never the same. This traumatized him for the rest of his life. That was it. The Muslims went to the hole. They didn't, they wasn't trying to get away. They were trying to hurt that individual, and they did. It was brutal. It was nasty, a nasty attack, a vicious attack. But they did speak to him on multiple occasions. They did warn him that they're not going to have this on the yard claiming to be a Muslim, claiming to be one of them. But wherever he was from, that car would have told him the same thing. If he was a Crip, the Crips would have told him, we're not having this on the yard. We're going to take your face off. The Bloods, they told, we're going to take your face off if you do this again. Period. This is every group. The Serenos and Norteños, they told him, we're going to take your face off. And then they took his face off. Any group. Everyone there was standing on business. No one was playing games. The politics are intense. They are serious there in High Desert on a 4-yard 180 at that time. Extremely serious. It was extremely violent. And this was just everyday occurrences. Individuals who didn't understand the intensity of the politics would get out of line, flout a rule or a protocol, and find themselves on the wrong side of a sharpened weapon. Let me know what you think in the comments. Shout out to the Muslims. They don't play. Stay safe and stay free, people.